All right, guys. Oh, Kit, can you hand me that? Thank you. All right. So we're going to, as an experiment, as a new idea, we are going to build a giant version of this ugly ass thing right here. Okay? Because it's just a stupid S shape, right? But we're going to build a large version. We're going to build a 3-inch wide by 18-inch long version of it. So this is 3 inches wide, 18 inches long. Now, the point and the reason that I'm doing this is because I want you guys to understand that part of this whole idea of the Frankenstein technique where you're kind of deciding, right, well, I want my object to go this way and then I want it to come back this way, and you're making decisions that are kind of shaping the design sequentially, right? I want you to understand that part of that, it doesn't end just in making the object. You can also start to subtract and remove from the object or add on to it to kind of articulate it in a different fashion to make it look very different. Okay, so here we go. Actually, what I should do is just make 2 of them, you know? That way we can compare one to the other one. So I think I'll do that. Open that up, 3 inches on each side. So 3 and 3. And cut that thing out. Oh, something's going on downstairs. Someone's hollering in a hoop down there. Okay, so I got 2 of them that I'm going to work. And as I mentioned, I'm going to go from each end, I'm going to go about, I don't know, like 4 inches and put a line there. All right, and then I'm going to go 1.5 inches and put a line, because again, we're following the same format of this, okay, of the 1.5 inch line. And remember that these 2 are going to fold one way, the other 2 will fold the opposite direction. So what I'm going to do is take this one and make a cut across here. Right, and I'm going to make another cut across here also. And so at this point, they are identical. Right? Fold, fold. And there's that ugly S shape right there. And it does it again, and there is the ugly S shape once again. Okay, same as that one. So now I'm going to go back the other direction. I'm going to do it maybe out here somewhere. So here and here. There. Mark. One and a half inches over this way. And the reason that I'm making 2 of them, right, so that one of them sort of stays as is so that you can see how different they become as you start to modify them. These cuts are on the opposite side. All right, so there is my stupid S shape, same as that one, and I have another one just like it, 2 of them. I'll go ahead and start to put on the little shear panels. So I'm just going to cut some strips off of it and glue them in there. Well, there's one, there's another, and another, and another. So one of these I'm going to go ahead and glue up, and I'm going to kind of just have it as the example of what happens to, you know, what we contrast the other one to. Okay, so glue. Right, I'm going through the same exact technique that we had previously gone through. All right. more, and we have our first piece finished. This will also speak a little bit to the whole notion of iterative process. Okay. Okay, so there's kind of my first shape, and this is an exact replica of it. Now I look at that and I say, well, that's pretty darn boring. I don't like it, right? And most of you probably look at it and say, yeah, it's pretty darn boring. So part of what I want you guys to start to think about is, okay, well, how could I modify that? Well, maybe what we do is we start by modifying this by slicing off a portion of this. So now we're using subtraction as a means of kind of articulating this, right? So I'm going to take that and slice it off like that, and then maybe take this one and slice it off sort of this way. Okay, so I'm going to take this one. I got to make sure I'm using the right edge. I think it's the other way around. Right? And I'm going to take that off sort of like that. So here goes. And again, this is approximation, and what I did is I made one, and now I'm making another one based on it that is going to be new and improved. Okay, so there it is. There is the newer form, and I don't know, I mean, it's starting to look a little bit more interesting than the other base form was. Okay, so the next thing I can do is I can start to say, all right, well, what about the sidewalls? What if I want to kind of change one of the sidewalls, right? And I can start to say, all right, well, I'm going to kind of slant this sidewall so that it's going over this way. All right. And I'm going to leave this one so that it's going straight down. I can only taper this one. So here it goes. Turn that off. Okay, which then kind of opens up the opportunity for kind of adjusting this bottom plate. Okay, so I can say, all right, well, I want to take that bottom plate and also kind of taper it or adjust it. So I'm going to take it and cut it from, say, here to that corner. Okay, and you can start to see that the profile shape is drastically changing, right? And what you're seeing of the form is also starting to become a bit more interesting than the original was. You can see that? See? All right. Very good. So I've got that. It's kind of starting to look a bit like a cobra. So I'm like, all right, well, what else can I do with this thing? Well, one of the things that I can do is I can add on to it, right? So I'm going to take this piece that I just sliced off of here on this side, and I'm going to take it and put it on the other side. Okay? I'm going to kind of glue it on over here so that it's actually angling over. I'm going to kind of glue that in there. Right, and so now you can see that that wedge is kind of going that direction now. Okay, so I'm going to put a little more glue on this side so that it is reinforced on both sides. So I've approached this now from a subtractive standpoint of kind of carving it down, and now I'm also adding pieces into it. And so same as I did that, I can take and attach a piece maybe in here, right? That'll kind of fill in that corner. All right, let's try that. Put this here. And I'm being really kind of cheap with this because I'm not cheap, I'm kind of cheating it because I'm using the pieces that I cut off to kind of add on to it. So it's not as valid as it could have been. Okay, but you can start to see now that that shape looks very different than the other one, right? You guys notice that? And the form itself is starting to get kind of a lot more interesting, right, than it originally was. So what else could we do? Anybody have any ideas?
Is there any way you can make it like the seven level, like the area like doesn't have to necessarily be rectangular, but maybe put like.
It isn't.
I mean.
You could subtract more and make more of an angle here.
Or like even have like a.
What if, here, I'm going to throw something out there, okay? What if I don't like this thing just going back and forth on itself? What if I detach it from here, right? So I'm going to finish detaching it from here, right? And it should be like this. It should fold over like that. But what if I say, okay, well, I'm going to rotate it over this way, or I'm going to rotate it that way, right? So I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to draw this line. I want it to kind of be like that. Cut that out. I'm at 12 minutes? Okay, so I'm gonna probably kind of end this thing pretty quick here. All right, so right there, I've kind of made it go in a different direction now. You guys see that? And so I'm kind of basically and you know, I can look at it and go, well, that's not, I didn't twist it enough. I want to twist it more. Maybe I want to twist it and bring it forward some, so where it goes to here, right? And I could say, yeah, that might be better. So let me try that. So and then I kind of draw that and then cut it again, and then I can glue it back together. And I end up with something that started off as this and ends up looking completely different by carving away and subtracting at it, by adding on to areas, and by detaching it and rotating the panels. Okay? So this was the new idea. So hopefully you guys will take it to heart and understand that when you guys are designing stuff, right, you may have a vision in your head of what something should look like, and then you do it and it doesn't work. It doesn't look like what you thought it was going to look like. And the only way that you're going to kind of begin to improve that less than perfect shape is going to be to iterate on it. And sometimes it's easier to start with a pre-made shape, right, and continue on with it. The same as I did this and turned it into this, I could have taken any of those and basically made one of those and then started to add on to it and change pieces of it. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this. And I'm going to let you guys do the same thing.